Somebody cheated if you share a profile. That is true.
Who cheated? No. If you have a shared Instagram, shared
it
Facebook,
was only one time.
Shared Twitter,
Come on.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that's a fact. If you ever see a shared Instagram, shared Facebook, shared Twitter, someone cheated.
You know what's funny is like if you could only have the sayings you hear when you're at Fiesta, you're somewhere walking around, and you're with a lot of Mexicanos that have been drinking, and the wife always brings that up for their girlfriend, and they're like, it was only one time, it meant nothing. It was ugly. I thought of you the whole time.
So what would be a good handle name for you guys? Because something like the couple that bounces. Wait a minute.
Well,
when we win, we bounce.
Yeah, when we bounce. Yeah. Spurs.
Hey,
couple.
That would be a good Twitter handle. Handle.
Bouncing couple. And I mean, it has multiple meanings. It definitely has the win when we bounce, and then it has some sexual innuendos there.
There you go.
It's only innuendo for exit 7 and exit 11.
Oh yeah.
Sam Salinas in the house. He says,
what's up, Sam Salinas?
My
man. My man. Yeah. Good to see you, bro. Yep, we got Steph in the house. Steph's here to spruce this place up. We got a lot of ugly mugs on this show every fucking day. So Steph coming,
hey, we're gonna need you to do the tail of the tape, by the way, because Quan will be on the show on Monday.
Oh yeah!
Oh my God, that'd be so cool. The tail of the tape.
Yeah, we do.
So you know what? So I want to ask you to break down the pros and cons of each. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses?
Absolutely.
Who has the greater reach of of a take?
I like
Very
that.
Cool.
We definitely could do that. I like it.
Like I said, he is gonna call in for that one. I'm like, bro, now you know you're fucking lying because you're always at work.
5 seconds, fellas. Let's do this.
What's goody?
Welcome to another episode of the Area 210 podcast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast to you live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Area 210 podcast. My name is Mike Jimenez. You see Joe Garcia, and you see Spurs Twitter's #1 couple, Spurnandez and Chicana Fuerte, in the house, in the studio. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. And what do we like to say here, Spurnandez, on Fridays? It is Friday and what?
It's Friday, and we don't give a damn.
We don't give a damn Friday as Joe centers things up.
Yeah.
Lots to get into today, right? We have Game 6 coming up of the Eastern Conference Finals because the Knicks have forced a Game 6. We'll be talking a little bit about that. The pressure now going on the Indiana Pacers. We'll obviously have Spurs talk because we are San Antonio, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney and her bathwater going up for sale in a way.
Man, you've heard that creative stuff.
Oh, you heard the phrase Chicana Fuerte. She's so hot I drink her bathwater.
Mm-hmm.
Now you kind of can. You can kind of share a bath with her.
You can put your
money
share
a bath with her.
You know what? And you know the cochinos, but they were thinking as soon as they saw that her bath water is included with the soap. Elias said he's gonna buy 1,000.
We're gonna do the tail of the tape between Michael Jimenez, the MJ Acquired Taste, and Quan, the final Quan, going at it on Monday morning. You ask for it, you get it going.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss that.
So we'll get into that as well. My Chica watched a couple of movies yesterday. Remember how she ruined other movies like Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Jacket.
She ruined Full Metal Jacket. She tried to ruin Blood In, Blood Out yesterday.
Oh, I want to hear this.
Okay, so we have a lot to get into today. Chicana Fuerte, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, actually. Thank you.
Very nice to have you guys on here.
It feels nice to be here. I've been busy, been very productive. He's in town. We don't have my kids around me on top of my work. This is literally just a normal weekend at home.
Hopefully relaxing weekend. I told her and Rick, I said, I missed them both because I haven't seen them in a while, man.
Yeah, I've been busy, man. She's always busy here doing stuff. Again, me, I'm out in SoCal doing my thing, but when I'm here, always got to show some love to the show. Always got to be here. I appreciate you guys, Mike and Joe, having us on, man. Like it means a lot. It really does to have this platform and all the listeners too, and the folks in the chat. So yeah, man, it's a good time. We're actually going to a wedding tomorrow. One of my close friends that I've known since kindergarten,
Congrats.
his oldest son is getting married. My boy Tito, he's watching right now. My boy Tito. So his son Andrew's getting married to the lovely Sam, and we're gonna be all dressed up and decked out. So it's gonna be a good time.
And look, we got Mexican Junior in here with the comment saying, "Blood in, blood out is a classic. Life's a risk, carnal."
Yes,
Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. How did she
Blood in, blood out. I did not watch it in the 90s. Okay, I watched it for the first time maybe about 2 years ago, and I thought it was a good movie. Okay, first of all, it's Latino, right? So that's a positive. It's also from the east side of LA. My family is from Southeast LA, so they mention Whittier a lot. And that's where my family's from, Whittier, California. So my cousin who threw out the first pitch of the Dodgers game a week ago, Whittier, California. So there's a lot of that stuff. I was like, oh, I recognize that area. I recognize that street. So there's a lot of that going on. I love the movie. Have only watched it once, watched it a second time because Hulu now has it on. They now have it available. So I joke that Blood in, Blood Out is the best Disney movie of all time because it is a Disney movie through Buena Vista Pictures, interestingly enough. But Chica had seen it when she was a teenager, had not seen it since, and we were watching it yesterday, and she went after Miklo. She went after Miklo. She asked the question. Remember the whole thing about Full Metal Jacket when it came to whether or not Pyle Lawrence was mentally disabled? She asked the question. Exactly. She asked the question whether Miklo was autistic early in the movie. She says some of his motions, the way that he moves his body, he contorts himself, some of the reactions that he has. She goes, he's on the spectrum. And I'm like, why are you doing this again? Was Miklo on the spectrum?
I don't think so. You know, and I don't want to get too deep into this, but I and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I feel that's like buzzwords that gets thrown around a lot. You know, like, oh, this guy or gal is on the spectrum, or he's autistic, or she. It kind of gets it's kind of an easy kind of cop out or whatever. It's almost it's almost the reverse on, like, so back in the day. People talk about this and say, like, oh, we never saw this like a long time ago. Yeah, it was a thing. It just people didn't call it that, right? People called it, oh, you're just weird, you're different, or you hid the weird Theo or a cousin in the closet or in the back room. Yeah, no one knew what he was, right? So now I think we've gone so far the other way, where back then it was like we're trying to hide it, right? And I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being 100 right now. Like, we kind of try to hide, especially Latino families. You know, you kind of hid that special tío or primo away, which is not right? You don't want to like put somebody in a corner. But now I feel like we've gone the other way, where we're just everything is, oh, they're autistic, they're whatever, right? So now we've gone just a total 180. In that direction. So
I think she was right about Full Metal Jacket, by the way. Full Metal Jacket, probably was right. Okay, but this one, but Miklo, I won't go that far with Miklo. I just think Miklo was trying too hard because, you know, as the story goes, he's half white, half Latino, but his blood is Latino. What does he say? He goes, Chicano isn't the color of your skin, it's your attitude, it's how you live your life, your perspective of life, right? So that being said,
he had a lot to unpack. You know, mentally and emotionally with not being accepted by either. Man, we're getting kind of deep about this, but I'm being 100. And we had Danny De La Paz on this show not too long ago, right who played in American Me and has a lot of ties of Blood in, Blood Out. And he actually told a crazy story about how Blood in, Blood Out and American Me were supposed to be one movie. And like the film was written in like late 70s, early 80s, and it finally came out in the 90s, right? So American Me and Blood in, Blood Out have a lot of correlations with each other. And Jesse Borrego, a good friend of ours, who played Crucito in Blood in, Blood Out, is from San Antonio. He's from San Antonio, and we've had the pleasure of meeting him and doing some work with him. That'd be a good insight to bring him on the show one day. But
it'd be great.
Yeah, I agree with Mike, and I agree with your Chica. Pyle, you know, if you and listen, I've been to Marine Corps boot camp, right? And there's if you can't lace your own boots and you can't dress yourself, you know, probably something wrong with you. And the recruiter was just hurting for quota, you know what I mean? And he slid you, right? Miklo, I think it was more about the stuff he had to unpack about not being accepted by the Latinos, not being accepted by the whites, constantly fighting with himself about his identity on who he was inside and out. I don't know.
Damian Chapa, also from San Antonio, by the way.
Right.
Lots of big names in that movie. We see Billy Bob Thornton making one of his first appearances on there.
Yeah. Of
He
course.
was Danny Trejo.
Yep, Danny Trejo, and of course Benjamin Bratt, right?
Was it Ving Rhames is also in there?
Yeah, Ving Rhames is the like a gang warden or one of the gang warden, assistant warden or something. So Ving Rhames is in it. Of course, Paco's character, right? Benjamin Bratt. Yeah, there's a lot of high end, characters, celebrities before they were big time in that movie.
Should I be embarrassed or offended that Chica was calling me Popeye by the end of the night?
Hey, Popeye.
You take it as you want.
Yeah, Popeye's got some, he got some stuff going on.
Now the phrase chonchon's being thrown around crazy in the household. Very nice.
Yeah.
Joined by Spurnatis, Chicana Fuerte. That's Joe Garcia. My name is Mike Jimenez. This is the Area 210 podcast. The chat is powered by MCS General Contracting. Thank you so much for those who are already in the chat. Tavares Sam Salinas, Jesse A. Sith, Mexican Rafa. Jason Garcia is also in the house. Enova Fist in the house. So good morning to everybody who's watching. Jonathan Bettis. Good morning to everybody out there. We apparently have a battle royale going on Monday. Myself against the final Quan.
Quan Wick.
How did this happen? I'm hanging out with Chica. Quan Wick. I'm hanging out with Chica. I get on my text messages like 2 hours later. I turn my phone off. I get back on, and everyone's like, Jimenez is going to go at it, and this and the other. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Joe, what happened? Describe what happened.
Well, you had mentioned Quan when you were talking about him the other day on the show, and I was just telling you, like, he's just a big Spurs fan. He's been around for quite some time. And word got to Quan, I guess, that you had mentioned him on the show. And he's like, you're going to talk about me, at least invite me on or something to that effect. And I'm like, you know what? It'd be fun to have Quan on. So I was like, you know what? I even said it, I responded and I was like, it'd be fun to have Quan on. I wouldn't mind having him on the show. I put that on there as a comment. And there it was. After that, everybody was like, hey, yeah, let's get Quan on the show. So he's going to be on the show.
So I reached out, and it's all a big blur because I don't know what I said. I'll go check the tape. Okay. So
I'll get it ready for the show on Monday.
Oh, please do. Please do. I don't remember. But the fact of the matter is that I like going toe to toe with people on Spurs takes and whatnot. Doesn't matter who it is. We'll battle it out take wise.
Oh, Matt, learn the Sohan stand. He needs to be on the show so he can go toe to toe with you.
So I reached out to Quan Wick and said, hey. Oh, actually, he reached out to me first. And I responded back. We went back and forth. And I said, love to have you on the show. So we batted around certain days. We settled on Monday. It's got to be 10:30. Okay, so we'll do the show at 10 to 10:30. He'll come on from 10:30 to 11. We'll do a battle royale when it comes to Spurs takes at that point. And I've given him a handful of topics so that I'm not just, surprising him with stuff. I'll give him some potential topics down the way. But yeah, so it's going to be Monday at 10:30. Let's make this happen.
You can't miss that.
Are we expecting fireworks? I mean, what am I missing here?
Yeah,
what are people expecting?
Well, so I think Tavares in the chat is making a good point that we got to kind of go back to. What happened was, I believe, and I was watching the show that day. I want to say it was either Wednesday or Thursday, and I believe Mike was saying something to the effect about the Spurs maybe not handling Wemby properly or not knowing how to have something like that, and that's been a big take of Quan's. Quan has been very adamant. Quan is like one of the first ones that said, like, man, I don't think the Spurs are ready to draft Wemby. They don't know how to handle him. They don't know how this is going to be bigger than, like, it's going to be like a bigger deal. It's going to be like too big for the Spurs to deal with Wemby. It's kind of what he said. And even when like the whole Britney Spears security situation happened, he kind of was pointing to that, like, see, there's proof that the Spurs aren't ready for such a big star like Wemby. So anytime that he has a chance to make that point, he does. So I believe what was happening was Mike kind of alluded to it, and I think Tavares called you Quan in the chat. He said, damn, Mike, you sound like Quan or something like that. and then that's how it started. So Tavares has to get a little love on
there.
He started it because he said he called you Quan in the chat, and that's how you responded. And you said oh man, that's an insult. Yeah, he's a pain in the ass.
He's a pain in the ass.
You didn't say nothing out of pocket. You didn't say nothing disrespectful. You just said, oh man, he's a pain in the ass. Which I mean, he is a pain in the ass. So is Mike. Is a pain in the ass. So I mean, I am a pain in the ass. So it's not that big of a deal. But I think
it was enough to light a fire under this whole thing.
But I think I have a little bit of insight because I've met Quan in a game in LA because Quan lives in Riverside. So he lives out in Cali. I want to say he grew up in like Corpus he'll give you more details, but
Aransas Pass.
What, Port Aransas?
Yeah.
Or Port Aransas. So something like that. So he's from Port Aransas, Texas area. But he's a big Spurs fan. Mike and him are actually similar in a way when it comes to certain takes that
the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other.
So I actually think you guys have a lot more in common. And this isn't disrespectful. I'm being honest. It's one of those things where I know when I meet somebody who's kind of similar to me, you would think we'd get along, but we kind of don't because we both are like, no, I'm Rick. No, I'm Rick. No, I'm Rick. So I think you guys are similar. So you'll, not that you won't get along, but I'm just saying you say a lot of things that will upset a bunch of other people, and neither one of you care to upset people. You know what I mean? Like if you feel a certain way. And a certain take is, even though people are gonna jump all over you, you have the balls to say it. So I respect that, and so does Quan. I might not agree with it. I might think you're freaking crazy, but I can respect you to say, you know what, I'm gonna stand on my business, and this is my opinion, and that's what it is, and not afraid of backlash. So both of you, Mike and Quan, have that in common.
I'll take it. Now, Spurs Twitter is all a big blur, right? Because we see the same 50 people posting their stuff, right? And it was so funny because you mentioned Quan, and I went through his last 2 weeks of posts, and I agreed with like more than half of them. Right?
That's what I'm saying. I think you guys are gonna agree.
So did I confuse him with somebody? Because either way, I'll go toe to toe either way. But I don't know what's going on. I woke up and I was like, why is there this battle royale going on? But give the tail of the tape. Give the tail of the tape. What are the outlandish things that I've said? And the outlandish things that he has said most recently.
Oh, I know exactly what you said because we got it on tape. I'll play it for you right now.
Play it, baby. Play it.
Yeah.
This is a signal that the Spurs have no intention of winning this season. And it's a punt into the future.
Never forget.
Was it not?
Never forget.
Was it not?
Yeah, I love the comments coming in. Jesse A said, "Who's the Rickiest Rick?" That's funny. Sam Selena said, "Rick sounds like a promoter right now." Hey, right about that.
Well, we have the super chat coming in from Tex-Mex Frank.
I'll let Mike do the super chat.
So we got to go ahead and play this right.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Thanks, Tex-Mex Frank. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, first of all, it says Buenos Dias from Tex-Mex Frank. Says, ladies and gentlemen, what are the Vegas odds on Mike versus Quan? Here's to a great weekend with a brutal Spurs and Cowboys grito. He wants the grito. He paid for the grito. Let's give him the grito.
Yeah, which one should I give him? I know exactly which one I'm going to give him. And Rick, pay attention to this one.
Okay.
Oh, me pegan toda la pura verga. Me trepan a la verga. Mira.
But here's the grito. This one was funny because you know where that was. That's in front of Sitco.
Exactly where the Sitco. As soon as I saw that, I recognized that Sitco, bro. I may or may not have done a couple of beer runs in high school back
exactly.
there, so,
but here's the grito.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
Very nice. Tex-Mex Frank, thank you so much for the support, man. We love you, man. Thank you so much for that. But the tail of the tape. Okay, I will battle anybody when it comes to Spurs takes. Spernandez, you are a great opponent. You and I have gone toe-to-toe. Joe's a great opponent. We've gone toe-to-toe. I've gone toe-to-toe with Pledger. I've gone toe-to-toe with Jeff Garcia, with a lot of people, right?
But
so
what was the most thing that we loved a lot about Pledger is that we got this mic out of that whole battle between you and Pledger.
You moron!
So that being said,
real quick, my boy Andrew Solis, Joe, can you go back to that one?
Yeah,
this is my guy that's getting married tomorrow, and that's why we're here. We're going to his wedding tomorrow. Andrew, he's a new subscriber to our show. He's watching. We love you,
Very
Andrew.
nice.
We're excited for you to get married tomorrow, brother.
Congratulations
love you,
to
big
his
dog.
son, man.
Hell yeah,
Congratulations.
Yeah, this is actually the son, Andrew, talking. But yeah, congratulations, brother.
Okay,
you know what? So tell her the tape.
Yeah. So
Right.
what are the pros and cons? What are the blind spots? What are the good spots of both of the competitors so far?
I'm telling you, man, and this is like one of those fights where the fighters are very similar, right? And they're so different that they're similar. You know, I think, like I said, I actually think you guys are gonna agree a lot more than is expected by the audience. Some of the things that Quan says, like I said, most outlandish is the Spurs can't handle Wemby and don't know how to handle him. Like not even just on the basketball court. He talks about that they don't know how to play him on the basketball court, out of position, making him a 3-point shooter, which Mike also says the same thing, right? Like, hey, why is he out there shooting threes? Why isn't he down in the paint? Stuff like that. But Quan kind of talks more about like the off court stuff. Like he's just too big of a celebrity. He's endorsed by Louis Vuitton, and that San Antonio is just not ready for that, right? So I think that's gonna bleed into Mike's. You know, San Antonio. What does he say, Joe? San Antonio's poor, and San Antonio is not forward thinking.
Yeah, you know what Wemby says all the time when he sees Mike's takes or he hears Mike's takes.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I think Wemby said that when he found out that the Rockets were going to take him. Yeah. I had the comment yesterday, or 2 days ago, rather, on the Area 210 podcast, that Wemby would be playing right now in the playoffs if he was drafted by Detroit, if he was drafted by Houston. Both Houston, Detroit, and San Antonio had the same 14% chance odds of getting Wemby. Sure. That going to San Antonio was the hardest hurdle for him to jump because there was nothing here.
Going to San Antonio was the worst thing for Wemby.
It was.
Yeah, I don't know if I understand.
Charlotte might have been.
I don't know. Yeah, saying it's the worst thing. I think I disagree with that because, like I said, yeah, there's franchises like Charlotte that are just always going to be in purgatory. Now, it's I would say there were probably better situations for Wemby as far as like the team around him, right? And I agree with that as far as like Houston has better talent, right? Had Wemby gone there, even though he doesn't, and again, I'm trying to be honest and logical. Houston has better talent right now, right? Than the Spurs.
And better coaching.
If Wemby,
Udoka was a better coach.
Right. So Wemby going
than Wemby,
So Wemby going there would probably be a better situation. Cade Cunningham and how weak the East is would have been a not bad situation for Wemby to go to. But I wouldn't say that the San Antonio is the worst thing that ever happened.
Well, I was saying the worst of the three. The worst of the three that had the best odds.
Out of the 14%, you were saying, okay, that we could meet in the middle there. Out of all the teams that had 14%, yeah, the lesser of the situation is probably San Antonio. Now, at the point he was drafted, though, Mike, at the point he was drafted, it might be the worst place. But we are hopeful that with assets, with proper trades, with proper drafting, in the long run, it ends up being the best place for him.
We're hoping. We're hoping. It's so difficult to go toe-to-toe with Oklahoma City right now. Oklahoma City making their way into the NBA Finals. They're waiting to see who's going to come out of the East between the Knicks and the Pacers. Oklahoma City is poised to be a juggernaut. I know we've had 7 different champions in 7 different years in the NBA.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this much. This Oklahoma team is not going to win just one championship. They're going to win multiple.
And why does that upset Spurs fans so much?
It upsets Spurs fans so much because who's the youngest team in the NBA? Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And they were the youngest team last year. They had the best record this year despite being the youngest team in the league.
They don't want to host that trophy before Wemby.
Well, that is true. I mean, I understand that, but the fact of the matter is that you look at these two franchises, and every excuse that Spurs fans have, or the pop in the front office have about this team, about they're too young. Well, these guys are the youngest. You know, we don't have the veterans. They don't either. You know, what they've done is they've gone out and drafted very well. They did the great trade. What did they trade? They traded Paul George, and they got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who became the MVP this year, best point guard in the league. They also got Jalen Williams in that trade as a draft pick. Trey Mann, a bunch of other players down a lot of swaps along the way. This team is poised to win 2 or 3 or 4 chips in the next decade. And that's the problem, that the hurdle that the Spurs have to get through is not just making the playoffs, not just becoming a 50-win team. It's how the hell do we compete with that team?
And I'm not disagreeing with anything that you're saying, Mike. But what I will say is, first of all, we can't count out Indiana. I don't think you can count them out. I know it seems like right now, OKC is going to get there. The way Halliburton, I obviously, and we'll get to it later in the show. Indiana has to close out New York, but if we assume Indiana moves on, Halliburton's been playing crazy, lights out. They see, quote unquote, a team of destiny. So you never know. People thought Boston was going to be geared to win multiple championships. People thought Milwaukee was going to be geared. So I just hesitate to proclaim a certainty that the Thunder are going to win multiple championships. Well, first of all, we don't even know if they're going to win this one. Yeah, got it. They look like they're poised to, but I'll tell you what, there's been a lot of things that people thought were going to happen that didn't. Because I'll tell you what, let's and I'm not trying to be an OKC hater.
Pacers team's looking pretty good.
Right, I'm not trying to be an OKC hater, but let's just, for sake of argument, let's say Indiana wins the title this year. We're going to be talking about a different story. I'm just saying, man, like before we count our chickens and all that, we gotta wait and see. And even if OKC does win this year, okay, to say that they look like they're poised for multiple championships, but man, we just seen how hard it is to repeat when 7? Would you say, Mike? 7 last
7 champions last 7 years.
Yeah, so
the difference that you have though with Oklahoma City, by the way, I'm looking at the odds that have come out of OKC versus Indiana. It's already out, right? A hypothetical, what Vegas is going to do. Mm-hmm. They have OKC as minus 800. Calculated, that means that Vegas believes that there's an 89% chance that if they played each other 9 times, OKC would win 8 of those series. So it's not just OKC is going to be the favorite. They're going to be the overwhelming Vegas favorite. Yeah. And the problem that you have right here, not only will they win the championship this year, but they're getting better.
Yeah.
They're not at the top and starting to come down.
Yeah.
They're getting better every year, and they have tons of lotto picks over the next few years and swaps.
But it took them time to get there. We got to remember that. I feel like, and I've been guilty of this, of living in the moment and all that. OKC didn't just magically out of air become this. It took a while to get there. Had you said 2-3 years ago that OKC, people were clowning I see a lot of juxtaposition and comparisons to OKC and San Antonio. And I'm not a fan of watching OKC, and some San Antonio Spurs fans are almost trying to vicariously be oh, well, Sam Presti and Chip England. If this is a Spurs somehow, championship too, or just like with the Derek White thing. Again, no offense to people that do feel this way. I've never been a fan of that. I'm not going to sit here and say
offend them.
I'm not going to sit here.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say, look, Derek White won a championship. Yay, that's one for the Spurs. No, it's not. Right. I love Derek White, and he cut his teeth here, and that's great. But he went on and moved on. So I guess what I'm saying too is what people are ragging the Spurs about, they got picks in 2030. Yeah. Who cares about those picks? I guarantee you 5 years ago, people would have said that about the Thunder. People would have said, oh, wow, the Thunder have picks in 2023. Who cares? This is 2018 right now or whatever. I'm just saying and it's the blueprint or whatever you want to call it that the Thunder have done over the years to draft well and trade well and all that. It's not like they just magically appeared here. It took them time to get there.
Yeah, we do got an incoming super chat that we do got to address because it's been overlooked for a little bit of time here. So let me go ahead and play this.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Thanks, Sam Salinas. He says Mike is 1-0 in Fiesta fights, but 0-2 in freestyle battles. Will he get his first win on Monday? On Monday morning, I said we'll tune in and find out.
Yeah, Chica doesn't believe me when I took the tennis racket to the ATM machine that one time when I was young. She doesn't believe me. So we're watching Blood In, Blood Out, and one of the guys, I think it was Popeye, pulls out the switchblade and goes, and he pulls out the knife. And then I said, you know what? This is when you need a tennis racket. This is when you need it. But
my weapon of choice was the club. Remember that you locked the steering wheel with the club. Remember that? Joe? Where she doesn't remember because she's a 90s baby. She doesn't even know what the hell we're talking about.
It was a crowbar for crying out loud.
Yeah. So you had the club. It was red and it had like a steel thing and it locked your steering wheel so no one steals your car. And then it doubled as a weapon because you open that bad boy up. And so that was my weapon of choice because you could just have it right there in plain sight.
Remember, I wonder if she remembers. Remember back in the day how we used to have the detachable face?
Oh, yeah.
Radio, so you had to hide it.
Pioneer.
Yeah.
It had to be Pioneer.
But I know these things.
Fernandez, when did Pioneer become the thing, man? When did it become the brand?
Because they had the speakers. They had everything. Pioneer, it had to be maybe mid to late 80s. But you would take the face off, right? And it had like different colors or whatever. So like you'd walk around. It was, this was before cell phones, so it's almost like walking around with your cell phone. Like I remember, I would take the face off. And like in high school, I was walking around with like my face of my car, and like I would put it down on my desk, whatever. And that was like a clout thing. Like look at like I got such a badass radio, stereo system in my car that I got to pull out the face. It was like a clout thing, Mike. It was like a status. Like if you had that, you're like, oh, you must have a badass system.
The Pioneer.
Right? If you had Pioneer, you were a badass. If you had Magnavox. No, man.
What the hell
not
is that?
So much. Yeah, it was not so much. No, Pioneer was hey, amps. Whether it was amps, whether it was speakers, whether it was the face, man, Pioneer was the way to go, bro.
The other thing
thing
was, how many discs did you have in your CD changer,
bro?
I rolled with a 6-disc changer with a 3-second skip protection.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I remember the book, right? You had the big book of all the different CDs, right? And I remember like I kind of would rank them and organize them in a way of the best ones are in the front. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That open the book again. She's like, what the hell are y'all talking about? You know, she's a 90s baby. So you open that book. Top left, man, was your number one, bro. Like that, or that was for me. I kind of had them 1, 2, 3, like the way I listened to them, and it was almost a ranking system. And then a new one would come out. I'm like, sorry, buddy, you're moving to 10. Now this guy's number 3. You know what I mean? So I ranked them that way.
Yeah, remember the CD changers in the trunk? Remember the CD changer in the trunk?
Oh yeah,
that's where mine was. Yeah. My Toyota Celica had it in the trunk. We had it was everyone had the first 2 pages were the same. It was it was the Chronic.
Yeah.
It was Cypress Hill.
Yep. Maybe some Bone Thugs.
Bone Thugs.
Like
it
absolutely.
It was Snoop. It was Pac. It was Biggie.
Yeah. See, and then I also right, and then like you also had, depending on like if you were cruising with the lady and you wanted like that baby making music, you had like some Jodeci, some Keith Sweat, you know what I'm saying, something like that going. I'll tell you what, man. I when I used to work at Bill Miller, and I had my 93 Chevy Cavalier, bro. Right, it got broken into one time, bro. It got broken into, and the biggest thing I was upset about was that CD book being gone. Yeah. That was the worst. The broken window, the stolen glass, whatever else, I didn't care, bro. I can't replace that book, bro. You know how long it took me to get? I mean, this is a true story. I was so mad about the book of CDs being stolen than anything else of that situation.
They took all your memories, bro.
Yeah. And then the burn CDs where you write on there, write what it was and all that, like, bruh. Come on.
Fernandez, I got a tall tale, man. Got a tall tale. My brother-in-law had this one friend that I suspected of stealing from me. He was kind of a shady character to begin with. We'd go play ball over at Timberwood Park. Back in the day, that was kind of a decent place to play ball. And I swear he stole stuff from me, dude. Every time I'd see him, shit would just disappear.
Yeah, you're like shady. Your radar is kind of getting up a little bit.
Yeah, and I knew that he was shady to begin with, right? But I remember like a year later, I got so pissed off. Like I was still pissed off that he was stealing my crap, my CDs, whatever the case may be, that I saw that he was playing ball there. I broke into his car.
Oh, wow.
And I stole all his CDs, dude. Like the entire book of CDs.
Oh, man.
Didn't put it in my car. Just went to the trash can and fucking just threw them in there, dude.
That's a tough one, bro. That's almost like, what is it? In Pulp Fiction, John Travolta character, he says something about like, man, you could do a lot of things, but don't ever mess with another man's car, something like that. Right? He said something.
Look at Lanover Fist says, no, if you had Bose, you were badass. Pioneer was mid. I do have Bose actually right now in the Cadillac.
Bose is now, dude. I mean,
Bose probably was coming up and back then, right? Maybe it was beginning, but Bose I think now is a thing but and again, it's all perspective. Different. I'm sure different people have different perspectives on what. Yeah. Oh, I remember the kickers. Somebody just said something about kickers.
Put 12-inch
kickers. Yeah. The kickers was the move. When it came to like the bass speaker.
You had to
and
have
all
the
that,
dynamite, remember? Because if not,
yeah.
you'd get all that rattling going on.
Damn,
Listen,
y'all are old.
This 90s baby is just thinking we're old, man. She's thinking
Remember
we're
the
old as
Pioneer
dirt,
was
bro.
legit because when you put it on. Remember the Pioneer was legit because when you would go ahead and turn it on, it had the little dolphins and all that crap on there, the graphic and all that. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? We're talking about this, and like I used to cruise military back in the day on Sunday nights. I used to cruise BRAC. I used to cruise down by the Cinemark movies theaters and where the Ingram theaters and all that. Man, I wasted a lot of gas, but I didn't think about it back then. You know, gas was like 97 cents or something like that.
It wasn't
But
even $1,
and now
bro.
I'm thinking about like I was just driving around wasting gas, you know. But I mean, I look cool. You know what I mean? I look cool.
That Chevy Cavalier got 40 miles to the gallon, dude. You were fine.
Bro, I had that convertible Cavalier, and I had the car seat in there, bro. I had the baby car seat in my convertible Chevy Cavalier with the lowrider, low profile, luxury rims, the chain steering wheel, the little like, you know what I'm talking about, the little like lowrider bike steering wheel, bro. I was cruising.
Well, what do you think Mike was bumping? Were you bumping Two Live Crew, Mike, or were you bumping Color Me Bad?
Rafa is asking the question. Tony saying I was bumping Color Me Bad. Dude, okay, so if I was bumping now, I was more R&B than anything else, right? So you mentioned
bumping grind,
Jodeci and Keith Sweat and Bobby Brown and all that stuff, right? That was it. My friends and I, we listened to Dre and the Chronic and Doggy Style and all that stuff, right? That was all great. I was really into Cypress Hill, dude. I loved Cypress Hill. I loved Bone Thugs. Saw Bone Thugs in concert last year with Ice Cube over at the Alamo Dome. But man, there was some really, dude, nothing beats 90s music, man. Yeah. Nothing beats it. I don't care if it's rap. I don't care if it's hip hop. I don't care if it's R&B. I don't care if it's rock. 90s and 70s music are the two that will never die.
You were even karaoke. You did karaoke to Bobby Brown. Remember that?
She was
that's right.
doing a 90s playlist recently. I agree, man. 90s music and
I like 90s pop.
Yeah.
90s pop?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry. Like I do have family from Cali, but they're the ones that, you know, they went to the parties, they went to the raves. Like they birthed little ravers with us.
Yeah.
And I'm over here just trying to show Raina too, and she's like, "Oh my God, I love this song," and I'm laughing my ass off.
What was in your playlist? What was it? Name one or two. Name one or two.
You know what's funny is that I didn't even know some of the like what they were called.
Yeah.
And I was like, hold up, like it like triggered, and Reina was like, how do you remember this? She's like, you were like 4. I was like, I don't know. I was like, that's the great thing about music. It's like it triggers you.
Yeah.
I was like, and
I know everybody was listening to some freestyle, some Stevie B.
Bro.
Come on, bro.
Come on. Look at my thing. It's a 90s dance party essentials.
Yeah.
and you guys gotta go to this because it's put us in a mood, and we've been laughing since he's been here.
Yeah, I always say this, and I think Mike, we've talked about this, man. Like music like that is a soundtrack of your life, basically, right? And I'm not trying to get too deep and all that. It really
Tell me
is.
your life through
really
a playlist.
It really is. When you talk about, I mean, these are core memories of when, you know, your first date or just things that are like really impactful in your life, and you have that music in the background. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm not trying to be cheesy. I'm being honest. Like it really is, and it's a core memory in your life. I think movies and music and that's what's great about this show, because we talk about sports, obviously, but pop culture, nostalgia. These things start bringing back all these memories, and the people in the chat are just firing away. Powered by MCS General Contracting, right? And everyone's firing away in this chat, and it's hard to even keep up with it because everyone's hitting up like, oh yeah, I went to this concert, or I did this, I did that, right? So it's a soundtrack of your life.
Talk about Cypress Hill, dude. I mean, Insane in the Brain was amazing back in the day. Tony and I was talking about R. Kelly, dude. 12 Play was on heavy rotation. In my car back in college, man. Badass, dude.
I like some of the like, even like, I mean, it was underground back then, but like when like Master P first came out, you know, and True and about it and
Master
all that kind of stuff.
You remember what he said? Let me hear you say,
but even before that, I'm talking about like Ice Cream Man. Like if somebody in the chat, I know these old school fools know what I'm talking about. The Ice Cream Man from Master P, and like About It, True, and that kind of stuff. And then when Bone first came out, like, bro, when Bone, I never forget when Bone first came out. Like when Thuggish Ruggish first came out, man, like I never heard something like that, bro. I had never heard anything like that before. Yeah. I couldn't even understand what they were saying, but they were rapping so fast, right? Busy Bone and all that. And that was like, you want to talk about a soundtrack of your life, bro. Like, you know, and then what I liked is they rep Cleveland, right? And I mean, I don't have no connection to Cleveland, but what I liked is they repped where they were from, you know. I mean, a lot of rappers did too, but I'm just saying that they were going into like the street names, the East 99, and all, you know, all those things had meaning.
Look at this comment.
Johnny Z.
Look at this comment from Sam Salinas. He's saying DJ Magic Mike, 95
South,
69 boys,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah, wow.
Black plaque. And he goes, Johnny.
These are and it's like 8th grade dances, 9th grade dances. Ghetto boys, man. Mind's playing tricks on you. You know, like all that, bro. You know, was the move.
Hey, that's he used to play some of this stuff when we go to Skateland.
Oh yeah. Skateland West, bro, was my move.
Some of the deep cuts, man. I mentioned Cypress Hill. How I Could Just Kill a Man was the song, dude.
How I Could Kill a Man? Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah.
Cock the Hammer was a great song. Everyone mentioning 2 Live Crew. Okay, was it cool to bump 2 Live Crew because 2 Live Crew was cochino of cochinos?
That was your song. That should be your theme song. Me so horny.
Uncle Luke, man. Uncle Luke. You know, and all that. Yeah, man.
We love you a long time.
Yep.
Somebody in the chat was talking about like the radio stations, like 96.1, 102.7, KTFM. Like I remember that back
was
in the
way
day,
back.
right?
Remember the old logo still from KTFM?
Yeah, bro. Remember they used to have this thing called radio graffiti.
Yeah.
Where you could call in and they give you like 30 seconds and you say whatever you want. Yeah, like literally. I don't know if y'all remember that.
I remember
it was called radio graffiti.
The thing that we lived for was when you were cruising military back in the day, especially on a Sunday.
Yeah,
and they'd have the dedications.
Oh, bro. Come on, bro.
Everybody was clowning those fools, dude.
You know, it's like.
Yeah, I guilty, dude. I did it.
I did it too. I did it too.
What was the song What was the song that you requested?
Well, if I'm going to a lady, man, I'm going to Boys to Men, dog. You know what I mean? If I'm requesting, you know, something to get a lady going. Boys to Men is my goal.
I went a couple of years earlier than that, man. I did Rock With You by Bobby Brown.
He's showing you his cards.
Boys to Men for me. Mike, I think you're a couple of years. We're like about 4 or 5 years apart or something.
Yeah.
And that's when I talk about soundtrack to your life. That's for me, Boys to Men and Key Sweat, and those were like the baby making music, you know what I mean?
Oh, it was. Most
Vanilla Ice. No,
bro. Sonny Melendez on KTFM.
Oh, remember that? Yeah. The legend, Sonny.
Yeah. Hey, you know, it's funny. Remember Joey D, you know, on KTFM used to come out and do stuff.
Lyle and Vaughn.
Yeah, man. Those shows were cool. But yeah, they had that radio graffiti or those dedications, you know, where you're like, hey, this is Little Nesia to my man who's in Bear County right now.
I'm holding it down.
Holding it down for you, baby. Hey, Sleepy, when you get home, your girl's here for you.
I want to hear you do an answering machine message, right?
Oh,
ring.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? This is the insane Mr. Lazy, the #1 cholo here in San Antonio. Puro John J, Puro X7, Puro Marbach. You know what to do. Beep.
I just saw Rick go back in time.
I love that you said that, Mike. I love that. Remember those boxes?
He did it without hesitation.
Oh, I did that without a drop of a dime, bro.
You know what? That was De'Aaron Fox to Wemby for an alley-oop.
Hey, bro, and that was not planned. For anyone out there, I had no idea Mike was going to say that. I like that you said that. You remember those? They had those boxes where you could call in. And they were like messages like that.
Yeah.
And you could just like hear. That's how, you know, that was. This is before social media, before
text message,
dating, man, and all that. Phones, that was that. There's my answer machine, Mike. I love
it. And this is why this is why guys had to have game back in the day, because if you met a girl, you weren't ever gonna see her again. If you met her at a party, there was no, hey, let me Facebook you.
Yeah.
Let me MySpace you.
None of that,
it reminds me.
Bro, I had a little a pad and a notebook.
The little black book.
A little pad.
The little black book.
I roll up to Skateland West in my Red Wings with the Dooney in the lace. You know what I'm saying? And I got my pen and pad, bro. And you know what's funny? You say that, Mike. I told my sons the same thing. You know, I have sons that are in their 20s, and a 17-year-old, and I said, man, y'all don't even have game anymore. Like y'all don't have to have game. Like Mike said, you had to go up to a woman cold. You know, you have to walk up, and like you said, there ain't no like I could think of I could chat GPT what I want to say, or I could look up a line on.
Now it's just the Insta.
Now these guys and gals, young people, they trade each other's Instagrams, they trade each other's Snapchats, and you have time to come up with what you want to say, Mike. Right? You know, we had to do it cold. You had to, like you said, you had to have.
And not only do it cold, sometimes 1-on-5.
Yeah.
You see the girl, and they got their 4 friends there, man. Or dude, being the wingman, I was the best wingman of all time. Like my friends would always be like, "Hey, man, let's come with me," because
you
I
have
could
to talk to the big girl
going.
in the group.
Yeah. Dude, I wasn't jumping on the grenade. Dude. I never jumped on the grenade. Although I did have friends do that. It was called Hagen back in the day.
Oh man,
remember Hagen? I never took part. Swear to God, I didn't. But I
look at Steph. She's like, all right.
Who could hook up with the biggest girl? They would bet each other for that. That's old school stories. No, but the having a good wingman, someone who could talk the talk, who could who knew how to order a good drink. That was also a big deal as well, right? Because you wanted to go you didn't want to go up there and go, do you want a kamikaze? No, you got to give them something they hadn't had before. So then you had to research drinks, right?
Yeah.
But going in 1-on-4, going in 1-on-5, or going on 2-on-5. The guys, the boys today, the young men of today don't know what it's like to have game, and that's why they're lonely. By the way, that's why that's why only 80% of guys out there don't get.
Look at Mike.
Girls. They have no
you
game.
said you called it talking to the big girl, the whaling, hogging, and Jason because he's a Navy sailor. He's saying they used to call it whaling.
That's funny.
You should have seen Steph's face.
Speaking of like sailors and Marines and stuff like that, like it's funny because there's like levels of this, and I think Mike has talked about it in a different light. But it's like when you're on ship, right? You're on ship for like 6 months, right? There's a such thing as ship hot, you know? Like you look at a female and you're like, if we were on normal land and I wouldn't talk to her, but on ship, hey, she's ship hot. You know, you see what I'm saying? It's like Marbach nice, right? It's like Mike's phrase, nice. Right? So there's such thing as ship hot.
You should have seen
or deployment
face,
hot,
though, man.
You know, or deployment hot, right? Hey, listen, bro. If you're in Iraq for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, and those of you that serve know what I'm talking about. Hey, there's a thing as deployment hot. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't talk to her back in the States.
I was laughing because I saw Steph's facial reaction. When Mike goes, "Oh, we used to call that hogging." She's like.
So we have a comment from Ted saying, I remember asking a girl in high school for her number and she told me, I don't have a phone.
Hey, that's well, listen, you know, here's another thing that I tell my sons. I said, the reason why y'all also don't have game and are not scared, Mike, Joe, all of us here know this. You had a call in the house, the dad might answer.
Oh,
you know the dad might answer.
Hi, sir.
Exactly. You had to call the landline, bro. You know, so you want to talk about being afraid or really want to. If I really want to talk to you, man, I'm gonna walk to if your dad answers or whoever.
What song was this? Hoes in different area codes.
Hoes in different area codes.
Yeah, that's what's his name? Oh my God, hoes in different area codes. I remember that one. Yeah.
But no, back in the day, having the phone that was clear where you could see all the wires inside, that was kind of a big deal. Having the 30-foot cord, that was the other thing.
Or your own phone line. If you I never had. I was envious of people that had their own phone line as a kid. I never had that. My mom laughed at me when I asked her to get her own phone line. Like they'd be like, "You're on crack." But kids that had their own phone line, oh man, you had it made. Ludacris, there you go. Somebody said it was Ludacris was the hose and area code.
Luda.
I couldn't spit the name out.
Remember that star 69?
Yep, star 69, star 67. You remember that? Star 67 blocked off who you were calling.
Yeah.
Like so if I want to call you star 67, it shows unavailable or so something like that, right? Yeah. The caller ID. Remember that little white caller ID thing, that shows who called, and star 69 you could call them back.
Yeah.
Because if you called and your dad answered, you might hung up, And
then people would always give crap about the color of your beeper. The color of your pager, right? Because mine, the girls liked my color, my pager. The guys would always give me crap about it, right?
Green or something. Was
salmon,
that clear
no,
green
salmon.
One? Salmon. Yeah.
You used a phrase the other day to describe my shirt the other day, Joe. What color was that?
Salmon.
It was like, no, it was not salmon. You gave me some other color, but I thought it was funny.
What, magenta, fuchsia?
It was a combination of black with like a dark purple.
It was kind of like it started off as dark purple and then it blended into black and somewhere in the middle it was kind of pixelated.
That sounds
and
like
it was
like Blurple to me, you know.
It was like something Prince would wear, right? Like if Prince was to go into what was the name of the store? SBC Global, whatever we'd go to for he would have picked that one, right? But
hey,
no,
we got another
good.
Incoming super chat here.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
This one's from Mario Cavazos. He says, I'm in love with the stripper. Mike's jam.
I'm in love with the stripper. Yeah, that goes back to the tall tale.
Right,
Bro,
Steph, do you believe this tall tale, Steph?
We drove by Sugars the other day, man, and I was just like having
no way, bro.
Flashbacks.
No
but
way.
Go ahead, Mike. Mike,
that Sugars parking lot always full. What the hell's going on in there? It's always full.
Listen to the story.
That attracts everybody.
Yeah.
My friends call it the bakery, by the way. That's the bakery.
God.
Wild Zebra was the petting zoo.
Yeah.
They all had the nicknames, right? I unknowingly went out with a stripper, Stephanie, when I was in college. Unknown. Okay, so I met this girl. We went out a few times, a few dates, whatever. I took her to go meet my friends, and my friend ultimately later pointed out that she was a stripper, that he recognized her, right? Because he would go to, it was Giorgio's was where she worked, right? So anyway, I had no idea. So for the 3 dates that we went out on, she told me that she worked with her parents or for her parents, like their administrative assistant or secretary, whatever, which was true because she did that Monday through Friday from like 8 to 5. But at night, she was walking the pole, and I had no idea. So that is my story. I'm sticking to it. Steph, do you believe it?
There you go.
Stop the cap.
And I didn't date her afterwards because I felt a little bit weird about it that my friend had seen her naked and I hadn't.
That's why you stopped.
That's the worst part of it.
Yeah.
That's the worst part of it. I have a stripper story. I was looking at Steph's reaction in the thing. No. I have an older brother. He's in prison, unfortunately. He's been in prison for a really long time. Yeah. His baby mama was a stripper. I mean, they had a kid together and she was a stripper. And my brother's like 7 years older than me. So again, the reason why I was a father at 14 was because I was always hanging around with older people and doing things that I shouldn't have been doing at that age. I was in strip clubs at 12, 13, 14 years old with my brother and his girlfriend, like back in the back and all that kind of stuff. So, and I'm not trying to sound like some Billy Badass, but later in years, like Marines love strip clubs. Like, oh my God, like young Marines, like, you know what I mean? Like you go to any any military guy, you go to most bases have strip clubs right outside the gate, right? Strip clubs, tattoo parlors, you know, barbershop, stuff like that.
We have the Rainbow Lounge out here.
Yeah,
Kelly back in the day.
Exactly. Yeah. Even here. Yeah, right here, right by Kelly and right by Lackland, there used to be strip clubs. So because, you know, you're young, you're in the military, you got money, a little bit of money. So now you partake. So I was never big into strip clubs because to me, it wasn't that big of a deal. I think strippers and strip clubs, or it's kind of like alcohol when you turn 21. You know, it's like, man, it's been so taboo. So now I'm going to just go crazy. You know what I mean? So when I was around strippers at a very young age, it just didn't impress me, you know? So I would go with my Marine buddies to strip clubs, you know, and I would just kind of hang out, have a drink, have a $3.99 steak, like somebody said. I think Rafa said. And then the strippers will come and sit you next to you, right? Hey, do you want to buy me a drink? Do you want to? And I'm like, nah, I'm good. You know, like I'm chilling. You know, and then they get upset. You know, they get pissed off. You know,
they're not making money.
Yeah, they're not making money, and I'm just like, no, I don't. Like, you don't impress me. Like I straight up, you know, I've been around strippers since I was a young kid. So, I don't know. It's just funny, and a lot of the young Marines, you know, they think, you know, they fall in love, you know, they meet a stripper and they're like, oh, she loves me, you know, I want to marry her, you know. So that's an interesting business.
You know? I mean, isn't that the silly part of Independence Day?
Mm-hmm.
That Will Smith's character is in love with a stripper?
Yeah.
Like, is that I mean,
I'm telling you, man, a lot of military guys do end up, you know, falling in love with strippers and stuff like that, because again, some of these guys have never, they're from Podunks, you know, Idaho, Iowa, or whatever, or they're from some inner city, and now they're away from everybody, away from their families. You know, they feel like, hey, I might go to war and die. Let me just go all out, you know, and They go to it's just the easy. I think it's like an instant gratification thing, right? Like the strippers, you're doing everything that I would in a relationship. You're taking your clothes off. You're looking me in the eye. You
look at me in the eye.
You're making eye contact. Yeah, I'm the only one for you, and you're the only one for me. For this 3 minutes of a song. You know what I mean? For this 3 minutes of a song. But it's you got to be.
Is Pour Some Sugar on Me the greatest stripper song of all time?
I love Pour Some Sugar on Me. I love Def Leppard. You know what? I love Def Leppard. Pour Some Sugar on Me is a good one.
Noted.
Yeah.
Very, very, very nice. Douglas Fernandez, Chicana Fuerte, Joe Garcia. It is Friday. We don't give a damn. We're talking sports, pop culture, nostalgia. Sometimes we get more nostalgic than we do talking about sports because it just kind of is what it is. Sydney Sweeney coming out with a new perfume line, or new soap line, rather. It's a little bit different. She is somebody that a lot of guys think is the hottest celebrity out there. She's from Euphoria. She's done a lot of White Lotus. She's done a lot of different things, right? She's come in a lot of movies. Hosted SNL, one of the biggest stars in Hollywood right now. But you can actually share a bath with her. Tell us how, Joe.
Yeah, so of course, this came out yesterday, and it was brought to our attention by our good friend Elias. So he was the first one to go ahead and, text this out to us. But Dr. Sasquatch, the soap brand, has a partnership now with Sydney Sweeney. So you can actually get this special edition, limited edition bar soap that's actually made with Sydney Sweeney's actual bath water. I don't know how I feel about that, man.
I'm gonna just intervene for a sec because we're talking about a beautiful woman.
Well, I don't know. According to Mike, she's not all that.
No, I'm fine with that. Sydney Sweeney is beautiful. I never said that. That was Chris Leha.
Oh, yeah, he calls her Midney.
He calls her Midney.
That's funny. No, okay. So there is no reason for especially any gorgeous woman, to be broke. There are so many fucked up men out there that are disgusting and have all these fetishes that, you know what? I would let any company sell my likeliness and be like, this is Steph's Supreme bathwater. Like the fact that it's a bathwater bliss, I love everything about it. It's not her bathwater. Like I've seen like stuff on Instagram because it just pops up, or even like I can't even scroll through Twitter without it with something sexual coming up, But there are like these women that are teaching other women, like, you know what, this man wants to pay $25 to hear my wet vagina, and it's not even her wet vagina. It's like, she's like stirring macaroni literally in a pot.
Macaroni in a pot.
Was it that one candle that Gwyneth Paltrow had made that smells like, a vagina, right?
Yeah, the pheromones or whatever. They sell that spray. Like you could sell underwear, and spray pheromone, like the stuff that like men ask for. Like they even ask for professional cuddlers. Like I talked about this with some of my other friends. I was like, this is crazy in this world. So as far as this, I love that they're using her likeliness. I highly doubt it is her bathwater bliss, but
yeah, somebody in the chat said something similar. They said it's a gimmick, or it's
the idea is awesome, and she does have a lot of creeper fans, and so let her get rich off of it. Whatever.
Steph, I asked out a girl about a year ago.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Approached her.
Oh.
Asked her out. All that stuff.
So
she said that she was seeing somebody else. I was like, all right, that's cool, whatever. Then she goes, but here's my OnlyFans. That was the first. That was a segue of like, well, no, I'm seeing somebody else.
You're just gonna have to pay for it.
Exactly. Cheaper than a date.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, you can look at it multiple ways. I think some of these guys, that's how they look at it. They say, if I met a girl, I took her out to dinner, I did this, I did that. What, $100?
Still didn't.
$100, I guess, to take a woman out, a nice date, flowers, whatever. $100, right? Or whatever. Some of these guys would say, you know what, I could spend $50 on your OnlyFans or whatever. Now it's virtual and then all that. And I mean, different strokes for different folks, I guess. I don't know.
I like this. This is the comment of the day, though, from Chicana Fuerte.
Mm-hmm.
No reason for a hot girl to be broke.
That is facts. I mean, bro, a beautiful woman can literally just go on, get her dinner paid for 7 days a week. Like literally, like if a beautiful girl just literally got on Twitter and was like, "Hey, who wants to take me out?" and dudes would be like, "Hell yeah, let's do it!" And literally, you could get your dinner paid for 7 days a week. So
absolutely.
I was listening to the song by Timbaland. Oh God, I forgot the one that he goes, "I ain't got no money, I ain't got no American Express."
Oh yeah.
Can't even buy you flowers.
Yeah,
you know that song.
Yeah.
We're driving the car. Chica's going, "This has got to be a guy song because no girl's gonna listen to that. Any girl who's hot isn't gonna be like, oh, we're perfect soulmates, but you ain't got no money. You can't take me on a date. You can't buy me flowers.
Yeah.
What is it? Hey, but girls like some of these broke guys. They always hang out with the Edgars, right? They got no money, they got no car, and then they get pregnant by them, right?
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Yeah, that's a strange combination.
Hey, Black Bucket.
Go ahead.
Black Bucket reaches out on our chat powered by MCS General Contracting saying, asking the question politely, any freaky chicks out there want to buy my stinky chones?
Oh my God, that is rowdy.
That's another thing.
Are there women who want that stuff?
Damn.
I don't. I mean, I wouldn't say no. I mean, I never rule anything out, but I think it's a less of a that's a niche thing. So it would be it's less so you're gonna have a harder time finding a woman that wants to buy freaky dudes used underwear. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there has to be. But there's got to be a bigger demand for a man to buy a woman's chones, right? Like so. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that there isn't any out there, but it's gonna be a little.
You know what's funny? She can attest to it too. It doesn't matter. A man's gonna stink no matter how young or old he is. Even the little ones, the little boys, they smell bad too.
Oh no! I'm like, Pop, like you're a little rank, bud. Why are you're so little?
Oh my God! You know what we should do? Should we buy a bar or two of these bar soaps?
Why do we need two?
Bar two. No, like, give them away. Give them away to the listeners. Like have this be something that we give out to them. Yeah.
Sam Selena says there's a market for anything and everything on OnlyFans. That's true. I believe that there is a market for anything and everything. There's so many crazy. The craziest thing that you could think of, somebody, will be into, feet pics, just random. There's these OnlyFans or social media influencers that make money just brushing their hair on live cam or something. I don't know. There's something for everybody, and it's out there. I guess you got to find your niche folks and capitalize on that market.
I mean, but like that, I don't remember who put it on there about like any freaky girl wants to buy my chones. If Rick told me, "Hey, you want to smell my underwear?" I'd be like, "Fuck it."
I mean, there you go. But still gotta buy it.
I don't gotta buy it.
Yeah.
They're saying my finger's gonna slip and I'm gonna order an extra bar.
one for the road. You need an extra.
And they said I have to buy two because me and Mike won't share.
Who said they wouldn't?
I'm just like, oh God, man.
It is $24 for a 3-pack of Sydney Sweeney.
Hey,
so
there you go. We spent $24 and then we give a bar away.
That's like
each
less
week.
than $10 a bar, right? So
yeah.
what are you talking
we
about?
give it away to one of our lucky viewers.
Man,
let's give some
one
love
to Rick for free.
Yeah.
Let's give some love to MCS General Contracting. When we come back, Joe, if you can go on my Twitter account, because the rankings of the most popular WNBA basketball players has been announced. Social media has spoken. We'll talk about it on the other side. Let's give some love to MCS.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
Right, the number 210-774-9155, 774-9155 for all your concrete placement needs. Doesn't matter if it's residential, business, or government, they can do it. They do a fantastic job. What does Leha like to say, Joe? They don't do it the cheap way, they do it the right way.
Yeah, it's the home of that Diamond Heart concrete.
That's right, baby. They're reasonable, but they're not going to be the cheapest because you get what you pay for when it comes to all things.
And you get what you pay for in life. And you want to go cheap and cut corners. That's not going to be the best product.
Hey man, if you're going to go with MCS, it's because you value quality over quantity. And that's just like key. You should your women, right? You want quality over quantity.
Yeah, anything in life is
and if you value,
oh, this ain't tea.
Look at Mike. He got scared.
This ain't tea. This ain't tea in that Bill Miller mug right
Mike's
there.
having flashbacks.
If you value solid financial advice, show my number 210-508-0369, 210-508-0369. If you have an old 401k, an old TSP account, an old IRA, old college savings account, want to start something or whatever the case may be, to quote Serrano from the movie Major League, bring that shit over to me, man. 210-508-0369.
And I'm not saying this just because Mike's my guy and all that. And full disclosure, I haven't done any business in that aspect with Mike, but he's a shrewd guy, he's a smart guy, and that's the kind of guy you want when it comes to finances. So don't mistake Mike's wackiness sometimes for not being able to handle that, because I'm telling you, when it comes to being shrewd and when it comes to being smart and when it comes to numbers and finances, Mike's a different beast. So give him a call.
Very nice, man. Appreciate the love. Speaking of love, the love going out to certain WNBA basketball players. You would think that the number one social media driven basketball player in the WNBA has got to be Caitlin Clark, right? Because it's all about the ratings with her. It's all about the sold out crowds and all that stuff. But the rankings have been released. And Joe, I have it on my Twitter account.
Yep, we're going to show it on screen right now. There it is.
The number one most followed player on social media is not Caitlin Clark. It is Angel Reese with 4.9 million Instagram subscribers. Or followers, rather. I was looking at Caitlin Clark. She moved up from 3.2 to 3.3 million. She's 1.6 million behind Angel Reese. Paige Beckers, the rookie, at 2.6 million. Sabrina Ionescu, who's also a really good three-point shooter, at 1.4. The multi-MVP Asia Wilson at 1.3 million. Also a fellow rookie, Cameron Brink, at 1.3 million. Another rookie, Haley Van Lith out of LSU, 1.3 million. Former San Antonio Silver Star Kelsey Plum with 1.2 million followers. And then round out the top 10, you have Jewel Lloyd and you have Skylar Diggins Smith. Fernandez, Chicana Fuerte, are you surprised that Angel Reese has 1.6 to 1.7 million more Instagram followers compared to Caitlin Clark?
No. I mean, to each their own. Their Instagram accounts are all different. So and then on top of that, I really don't feel like these women are focused on their followers. So what does it have any bearing on what? I don't know. I'm the worst whenever it comes to I'm more over quality over quantity.
Right.
Because I'd rather have 100 solid people give me business, give me clients, put my name out there, give me more solid people than have 500 followers who ain't giving me a damn thing.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about it. I have said I've gone on the record that the biggest games that happen are when Caitlin Clark plays against whoever Angel Reese is playing for. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter if it's college, WNBA, that Caitlin Clark needs Angel Reese, needs the villain, if you will, in that dynamic there to ascend her to a superstardom. Yes, Caitlin Clark is a better player than Angel Reese. Both of them are all-stars, but one is a top 5 player in the WNBA. The other one's a top 15 player in the WNBA, right? 2 different positions, whatever. But Caitlin Clark needs to have a rival, and Angel Reese is that rival. And not only is she the rival when it comes to on the court, because the fact of the matter is that Angel Reese has won something. She has a national championship. She has a ring in something. Whereas Caitlin Clark has never won anything in high school, has never won anything in college, has never won anything in the WNBA. But that being said, Angel Reese is a big deal, whether or not people want to believe it or not. It's kind of like Nickelback and Creed. You can all make fun of them all you want.
That's horrible.
Well, here's my hot take of the day, Mike. Even though Angel Reese has 4.9 million followers, the girl still can't pay her rent. She says she don't make enough money, right, to go ahead and afford her lifestyle.
She wants more money.
So what is good does it do you to have 4.9 million followers if you still ain't making money? You know who's making more money? I think Caitlin Clark.
Well, she probably is.
Yeah,
she gets more endorsements.
You know what? And this is an interesting topic. I like that Mike brought this topic up, and Mike is shamelessly and unapologetically has always said, hey, he stands Angel Reese. Any kind of Caitlin Clark stuff comes up, he seems to want to like knock it down. I don't know where Quan is on that. Maybe you guys could talk. That'd be a good topic about for Monday. I think they both need each other. I agree with what you're saying, Mike. As far as Caitlin is the America's darling, the America's sweetheart, the great white hope. Sorry, I'm not. And if you want to get upset that I'm bringing race in, and if you don't think that race is a thing, of course it's a thing. I mean, of course it's a thing. And it's always been, man. It's been since, I'm a boxing head, and if you want to look up something, look up the legendary nights, Larry Holmes versus Jerry Cooney. Great White Hope versus the American black boxer who just couldn't get any love, after Muhammad Ali's title reign, right? And so, Caitlin Clark is America's sweetheart, America's darling, the Great White Hope. Reese is the villain, right? She wears the black hat. She's gonna be villainous. She's gonna be
she's cocky.
She's cocky. She's what people and again, another boxing reference, Riddick Bowe versus Andrew Galata, right? People don't got to wear jerseys when one player is white and is wholesome, and another one is black and quote unquote cocky or is what status quo.
No. Say it like they used to say it back in the day, a thug.
Yeah, thug or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. If people who categorize Reese as a thug, it's very easy to see who's on whose side, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right.
And that's a deeper issue in this country where people have to pick sides. And I've talked about this, about people feel that this is why this country is divided. This is why there's a lot of political debate. It's because we are like hardwired to feel like you have to pick a side. Like if you like Angel Reese, that means you don't like Caitlin Clark, and vice versa. Which is true.
It's very true.
No, it's not. I don't think
it's true.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
Dual fandom.
It doesn't have to be.
You cheer for one or the other, dude. Come on.
No, it doesn't have to be. But that's what is kind of standard in this country, right? You have to, if you have to like one to not like the other, right? I think they play off well of each other. I know people are talking about Magic Bird references in the chat. I mean, that's a little bit of a stretch, but it's akin to Magic Bird. I mean, there was racial tensions when it came to Magic and Bird. There was racial tensions when it came to, when Dennis Rodman made comments, right, about Bird, and he said something.
Why do we cheer for Canelo?
Yeah, because he's a Mexican fighter. He's a Mexican fighter, right? Yeah. I mean, yeah, and Tony Ornelas is saying Reese is a Magic. I'm not saying that Reese is Magic. I'm not even saying Caitlin's Bird. I'm just saying it's a similar polarizing situation where people are going to pick sides and people are going to take one over the other.
And it started in college.
And Reese won the national championship, so she does have that one up on her. As far as the followers and all that, it doesn't actually surprise me. For general, and this is a general statement. I think Angel Reese is a more attractive woman than Caitlin Clark is. Now, beauty is in the eye of the beer holder, is what I like to say, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I think Angel Reese does have more followers when it comes to she's a little bit, she makes sexier pictures. She does things like that. Caitlin Clark, is I would say people would probably say she's mid or not attractive. Other people might be attracted to her. Again, your taste is your taste. That's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother freaking topic.
Caitlin had that awkward walk into the arena the other day. We see Cameron Brink looking like a badass. Kevin Durant couldn't take his eyes off of her the other day.
Yeah. Caitlin Clark is just like this, like dorky kind of girl that walks in and she's not really turning heads with her physical appearance. And I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm just saying she really doesn't. Now, some people might find her attractive. That's fine. But I think more people would probably find Angel Reese attractive when it comes to her physical appearance. So maybe that's where the numbers come from when it comes to Instagram. I don't know if I equate your number of Instagram followers to me. You're more influential than the other person.
Well, let's talk about that real fast because Joe mentioned a little while ago having to pay the bills, right? By the way, I just followed Angel Reese on Insta.
There you go.
So
now one more.
This is their income. Okay, so they play 40 game seasons, right? So it's not like the 82 games the NBA plays. It's 40 games, right?
Yeah.
The salary for each: Caitlin Clark makes $78,000 for the year. Angel Reese makes $74,000.
Yeah.
So they're very similar. But basically, they're making just north of a teacher's salary as WNBA stars.
Those salaries are ridiculous, like honestly. But obviously, they have endorsements and stuff. But that's
where I was going to get to because the endorsement battle, Caitlin Clark wins the endorsement battle. She has State Farm behind her. She's got a big name behind her. She makes about $3 million a year in endorsements. Angel Reese makes right around $1 million. It's estimated between 900,000 and $1 million. She has PlayStation. She has her own endorsements. But you also monetize social media.
Yeah.
Right? So TikTok, you can monetize. Sure. You can TikTok, Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and assume that Angel Reese makes more money than Caitlin Clark on social media. So it's not bad. Angel Reese is not like struggling for money or anything like that. She's not having to go like Brittany Griner, go to Russia to go play ball. She can make money in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great thing to follow because it shows that there's a different dynamic and there's a different type of fan base for it all. And you can sell State Farm, but would you go to Caitlin Clark to sell Nintendo? I don't know. I don't know if kids follow Caitlin Clark. She might be too straight-laced for it all.
And I think I'm glad you said straight-laced because that's kind of a good point. I think another thing other than her physical appearance is Angel Reese. She's a little bit more controversial. She'll say things that might ruffle feathers and young people like that. There's, what I'm saying? Where Caitlin Clark is pretty PC, when she talks and there's nothing wrong with that. Caitlin Clark, even when they asked her about the whole hard foul and all that, she's going to give you a PC answer and she's not going to really try to start controversy or rock the boat. Most people like controversy. We like someone that's going to say something that's like, whoa, like a soundbite or whatever. So I think that's where it goes also to Reese's more, I guess, social media popularity or whatever you want to call it. I think they both need each other. I think they both need each other. But we do live in a world where there's a hero and there's a villain. There's someone that wears a black hat. There's somebody that is the media darling.
But the thing is, to Angel Reese fans, the hero's Angel.
Sure.
The villain's Caitlin.
Sure.
We have to understand that it works both ways.
Right. Yeah, you're right, and that's a good point. It depends on your perspective of things. If wolves like the wolf and not Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, we got a new subscriber. You subscribe to the notification. Just said we got Progressive joining us here in the chat now.
Very nice.
So appreciate you, man.
Yeah, so we have a comment from Mario Cavazos saying, so what you're telling us is that Caitlin Clark is Sissy and Angel Reese is Pam. Okay.
Yeah.
To whichever one you want to go with. Whichever one you want to go with.
Pam all day, bro. Yeah. Makes her own money, supports anything you do, doesn't sleep around with other dudes. I mean, come on, say less.
Yeah.
So Chica and I were watching movies last night. We got to see Blood In, Blood Out. We also watched Shawshank Redemption. She has never seen Shawshank Redemption. It was her first time yesterday. She gave it a good grade, man. She gave it a good grade. But it's one of those things where those jail movies are really good. The next movie I want to show her that she's never seen is American History X.
That's an intense movie. Yeah, that's
it's
movie.
Intense,
it's intense. Yeah, that's really intense. Yeah,
the bite the curb scene.
Ooh, dude. Yeah, you stomp that curb, man. That's tough. That's a tough one, but yeah, man, she seems to find autistic members in all the movies. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, I want the autistic count and see who she finds in the next one. But
hey, the show's starting to get close to being done here, coming to an end.
But what do you guys got going on this weekend, man?
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was gonna show Rick. I was gonna say, man, we got some things to talk about a little bit here, Rick, because I know you're a big UT guy.
Yeah.
So they went ahead and released the schedule, man.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mark your calendars.
Yeah.
You know, they went ahead and put when they're gonna release some of the games and what networks they're gonna be played on. I mean, they got the August the 30th is an away game. You know, it's kind of like kicking it off here. It's gonna be on Fox, and you have other games that are gonna be on ABC, ESPN, you know, SEC Network, that kind of stuff. So I mean, we got some games here. After just looking at some of these games, I mean, UTEP, no mames, bro. You already know what's gonna happen. Shout out to the Niners there, the Miners, or should I say?
Yeah.
But you got like OU, that's a big one right there. The Red River rivalry, dude. 2:30 tip, you know, on October the 12th.
The A&M rivalry renewed. Of course, man. Ohio State. It's gonna be exciting. You know, Sark is you know, getting these guys going. You got the era of Arch, right?
Archie Manning,
the Arch era, man. The Arch aura. So I'm excited. You know, again, I'm UT alum. I was blessed to be able to go through the University of Texas with the ROTC program when I was on active duty, the Marine Corps. So yeah, man. You know, I love my UT. I love. You know, I don't mind Austin, man. I know people from San Antonio kind of feel some way about Austin sometimes.
Keep Austin weird.
Austin's a good time. Yeah, Austin, it is what it is. You just got to understand, Austin's not San Antonio.
No, it's its own.
And San Antonio is in Austin, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Just like you don't have to take a side, like we were just talking about.
You got a lot of free spirits that live in Austin. It's more like the artists.
Yeah, you just gotta take it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? Take it for what it is.
And look, man, happy birthday too, by the way, to the Toyota Corolla of the San Antonio Spurs over here, Harrison Barnes. That brother just keeps on working, man. And you know what's funny is that how the hell does Rick get pictures with all these motherfuckers?
Yeah, there it is.
And like he's got a picture collectively. If you go ahead and put, he's like taking a picture with almost every single member of the San Antonio Spurs.
Man, it takes a lot of work, man. It takes a lot of work and a lot of road games.
He's trying to create a book, guys.
Yeah, I'll have a book of all the pictures that I've had.
But what did we say famously? When you take a picture with the player, he gone.
Yeah, that used to be. You know what? That was a thing for a while back in the day. It was like when everybody I took a picture with, it was like a curse. It was like a Fernandez curse that they would.
That's what they called it. It was a real thing.
It was a thing. But now I have pictures with everybody, so it can be.
The curse has been reversed now.
Yeah, reverse the curse. Yeah.
Hey, we want to say good luck tonight, 6 p.m. First pitch between the UTSA Roadrunners against the Kansas State Wildcats. That's going to be in Austin, so you don't make your way to Austin to watch that. The winner will more than likely play Texas in the next game this weekend. So again, it's the Austin Regional to go into the College World Series. The top two teams advance. If UTSA loses, they can still win out the last two games to advance. But winning today would be a big step in making it happen because Texas is a really good team. UTSA won 40 games for the first time this year.
That's awesome. And speaking of Austin, man, you know, Steph has been doing, and this is going to be blasphemous for some of our SAFC fans in the chat, but Steph has been doing some good stuff with Austin FC. They're an MLS team when it comes to videography and photos, and Fuerte Productions has been doing a lot of work. She did stuff with SAFC, but Austin FC has been giving her some love and giving her a home. You want to talk about that real quick?
I was I am still extremely blessed to be able to be sponsored by one of the supporter groups over there, the biggest supporter group that they have. And I worked with, here we go again, you know, being brought in through Arlen Studios, which is an incredible music studio in Austin. And they love my work. They see that I'm continuing to grow and make incredible edits. My views are very divinely feminine, along with, you know, the media people that I'm around. It's all men, and I love that. Not only am I Latina, I'm a woman, I'm a mom, you know, like, and I'm not afraid to work. I'm not afraid to. I'm not a person with a lot of words, but whenever you do see my stuff, you feel everything in there. I'm more of an action person, so that's why the cinematic videography works in my favor. And it's quite incredible to see, you know, colleagues right beside me, and you know they're old ass men, you know, and then here I am, you know, this, you know, younger Latina doing the damn thing, just as good as them or slightly better, you know. And it's
there you go.
The fact that there is no wrong way to view creativeness whenever it comes to professional sports. I will say I was a big SAFC. I am an SAFC fan. I understand where it comes where they're upset, in the supporter section. The lack of love that does come from higher up through other organizations, which is out of everybody's hands. But I will say, man, Austin FC, big supporter, along with all of their fans, seeing the new girl down, on the pitch. And I can see why people get mad because they're like, damn, you can't even hate like where I'm getting in. And I'm not even trying to hate, I'm just over here providing for my family, fulfilling my goals, my dreams. But I swear the type of support that I've gotten from Austin FC through every facet whenever it comes to, front office, everything. It's been incredible. And I'm so glad that I'm able to do both Austin FC, SAFC, all these other, outlets for me. And it's incredible actually. The shots, the players, they're very welcoming, and it just makes my job so much more fun.
Yeah. So congrats.
Let the haters hate. Let the haters hate. Take care of your family. It's all about you. It's all about your career. And I like the fact that you said that you're slightly better than the competition, because you got to have that mentality.
Yeah,
you're not there to be as good as they are. You're there to be better than they are.
No, and then even whenever it comes to my boxing circles, they're like, oh, we have our people, and I was like, and that's great. And I was like, but the moment I was like that you want to have a female's perspective, you want to gain that other type of genre into your world, that's where I come in. And that's exactly where I stand out.
And we also we had a incoming message here from Mario Cavazos. He wanted us to go ahead and share the picture on screen here. He had sent this to us via our media share. And he's saying that as far as the success that OKC has had compared to the Celtics, who won the chip just over a season ago. And it's just showing you the comparisons between the stars, a guy named Jalen, defensive guy, skinny white guy, and of course their version of Derek White. So thank you for that. We appreciate it.
Fellas, I have to bounce. I have a hard 11:30 out for work purposes, so I'll let you guys finish off the show. Everyone have a fantastic weekend. Good luck to UTSA Roadrunners and UT, both in the College World Series regional that's going on. Hopefully both teams advance. That would be amazing. But I'll be back Monday against Quan Wick.
Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Don't miss that. Sorry, you got to go.
Get the boxing poster ready.
Yeah. Get it ready. We're gonna promote this. It's gonna be a good time. If you
fight of the
please
century.
come in and tune in on that. I'm telling you, I think you guys are gonna end up agreeing on a lot more than you think. And but either way, it's gonna be a good.
All right, Mike. Show. We'll see you, brother.
Take care, Mike. See you, bro.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and sign off here. But if you want to go ahead and follow Rick, and see all these nice pictures that he's taking with every member of the Spurs here, go ahead and follow him on the X, and it's just like his handle right there on the X is just like his name, @RealSpernandez. You can go ahead and follow him. I believe you're on the X, not just on the X, but you're also on Insta, aren't you?
Yeah, Instagram. Yeah. I'm Rick RIC_210F on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then of course Chicana Fuerte. You can follow her on Twitter. And again, just the last plug as far as the videography and social media stuff that Steph has been doing. I mean, it's been amazing, man. It's a year in that she's been really working her own company, Fuerte Productions. And I got a little bit of part in that and helping her with, but we've been blessed to work with Bam, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, who's gonna fight, here soon in Dallas. And then Mario Barrios, who's fighting Pacquiao in July. She's worked with both of those fighters and done video for them. She's done stuff with Zachary Richarche through our French connection. Danny De La Paz, American Me Star. She runs his social media, and we've done stuff with them. So, and I'm not even doing it all justice. There's a plethora of tattoo artists, musicians, wineries, just a bunch of different clientele that she's amassed in only just 1 year. So if you guys need any videography or cinematography needs, everything from quinces, weddings, your kids sports action shots, guys, you want to get your girl caught in a sexy boudoir type video. What did I say it right? Boudoir? How do you say that? Yeah, something like that. She can do that for you. So hit us up.
Absolutely.
Hit us up.
My portfolio is fuerteptx.myportfolio.com. Take a look. It's incredible. I am highly proud of it.
Yep.
So make sure you go and check her out. Give her some love. If you need anything for your videography needs, as far as your quinces, weddings, special events, make sure you go ahead and hit up Steph over at Chicana Fuerte, which is Fuerte Productions here. And Rick is also a part of. So make sure you go and hit them up. She does great work.
Yeah. Somebody asked the question, what does the hat say? It says save water, drink champagne. Which is, that's the move. So
save water, drink champagne. Exactly. If you know Steph, that's her move all the time, man. When she's with Rick, especially. They're known as the popping the bottles club over here, man. Popping bottles, drinking mimosas.
There you go.
Manmosas.
Manmosas, exactly. And then Tony Ornales is asking about Vegas Summer League. Yeah, Vegas Summer League is the move. July 10th to the 22nd or something like that, I believe it is. If you guys get a chance to go out there to the Vegas Summer League, please come out. I'll be out there. Steph will be out there.
Rick's our official correspondent.
I am. Yeah, I am the official correspondent. You know what? This year marks the 10th anniversary that me and my sons have been doing Summer League. We started in 2015 when I first moved to SoCal. So 10-year anniversary of going to the Vegas Summer League, man. It's a good time. It's a blast. If you ever have a chance to get out there, please do.
You're going to be rubbing elbows with the NBA limelight, top of the top. Not only the GMs, but you see coaches and players.
Coaches, GMs, scouts, Malik Rose, guys like that are just walking around. You can talk to them, pick their brains. Brian Wright's walking around. I mean, it's a good time.
Yeah, what were you gonna say, Steph?
I'm just really excited because like my little Necio Pop, like he's a good sports fan. He loves all his sports, and we're trying to bring him along with us so that way he can
it'll be fun.
Get the experience.
Get the experience.
That Rick has done for his boys.
Yeah, that first one is always going to be the first one that you remember the most.
Never forget the first one. You know what my first Summer League was? Jonathan Simmons rookie year.
Oh, really?
Jonathan, and I took a picture with him. Yep, I took a picture with Jonathan Simmons. He was cool. Never forget that first year. That's actually the year they won the Summer League championship. It was Kyle Anderson was drafted that year. It was Kyle Anderson's year draft. Yep, slow-mo. And Becky Hammond was coaching the Summer League team. And they won the championship that year. 2015. That was my first year of going to Summer League. So yeah, you never forget your first, like they say.
I need to make myself my way out there so I can go ahead and check that out as well. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna go ahead and bring the show to an end because we got to get ready to go to work. Well, I do. Last day of work for the week here. It's Friday, and we don't give a damn. So we'll see you boys on Monday. Be safe out there, and if you have them, drink them, man. Party. It's Friday. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you on Monday. We're out of here. Peace.
Stay puro.